Soft-voiced, elegant and discreet, Emmanuel Carrère is now in his mid-50s. His first love was movies, which was how he came to write about the German filmmaker Werner Herzog. Then he published a biography of the American novelist Philip K. Dick before he turned his hand to fiction with a series of impressive suspense stories, including the recreation of a real murder, the story of a would-be doctor who massacres his entire family once his treachery is revealed. From which you can gather that Carrère does not deal in small themes and that he has moved away from the pure novel form to develop a style of his own, real and experienced situations, out of which he forges what the French call récit, a form which is far more than a factual account, since filled with an accomplished art of writing. Read the first lines of Other Lives But Mine. The night before the wave, I remember that Hélène and I talked about separating. It wouldn't be complicated. We didn't live together, hadn't had a child, and were even able to see ourselves remaining friends, and yet it was sad. It was Christmas 2004. Here we were in our bungalow at the Hotel Eva Lanka. Then a tsunami surges. Carrère and his wife are safe, but not their holiday friends. Juliette, a young girl of 4, is swept away by the wave in front of her powerless family. The survivors eventually fly back to Europe, broken-hearted and irrevocably scarred by the memory of what has happened. Even more so Hélène, whose sister, who is also called Juliette, dies of cancer. How to recover from so many simultaneous tragedies? Fortunately, the narrator, who is none else than Emmanuel Carrère himself, meets Etienne, a lawyer who defends and helps victims of bankruptcy. Carrère's skill as a narrator is so sophisticated and sympathetic that little by little you actually penetrate into his character's most intimate impulses. In his way, the meaning of the title becomes clear. The writer's task is to disclose, and selfish autobiography can only make sense if you get out of your own self to welcome other people's feelings, which is exactly where Carrère succeeds. Philippe, Juliette's grandfather, convinces the author to write down their story since Carrère happens to be a writer. Etienne, the kindly judge, holds such a moral attitude that he will remind you of famous legendary law enforcers. Then a normal life resumes. I make fresh coffee that we'll drink in the kitchen while talking about the children, friends, domestic details, and what's going on in the world.